Yo. Welcome in, everybody. It is Thursday morning. It is 10 a.m. And you all know what that means. It is another episode of Firmly AEW. Welcome in, everybody. Drew is here. I am here. We are ready to go. We are here for the next 90 minutes with y'all. We got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about All In Fallout. We got to talk about a really good episode of Dynamite last night where a lot of things happened. And, you know, say what you will, Drew. And then, like, I prefer not a 2-week build to my pay-per-views. But when there's a 2-week build to the pay-per-view, guess what? All In ends on Sunday, and they got to ramp the shit up right again to get to a pay-per-view 10 days from now or 9 days from now. Thursday morning, 9 days from now. So it is one of those things where we saw All In happen. I thought All In was a great show. A couple things I didn't like. One thing in particular, I didn't like a lot. And then we get to last night, Drew, and we start off with a bang. I don't know how you want to go about it because Jon Moxley returned at the beginning of Dynamite last night. And we saw him a couple times. Haven't seen him for 2 months, but obviously we have All In to discuss. Do we talk about Moxley? Like, how do we want to do this? Because we have the 90 minutes today. We're gonna cram everything in here. We're gonna be fine.
Let's do All In. Let's do All In first.
Okay. So we'll go through All In. I don't think every match needs to have these grand talking points, but the things that happened. Obviously, on the pre-show, Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii won their mixed tag match, as we saw on Dynamite last night. Willow Nightingale gets to pick the stipulation now for her match against Statlander at All Out next week, and she picked a Chicago street fight. As she said in the promo, that she has the most street fights of any female wrestler in AEW. So I thought that was a good little way to tie that in. That match should be great. I'm very much looking forward to the one-on-one. We'll talk about All Out next week, obviously. But I'm very much looking forward
to it. We already have to preview another pay-per-view.
Literally. I'm looking forward to the one-on-one with Stat and Willow. I think they're going to be great. And a street fight is just more nonsense and more chaos. And who doesn't like more nonsense and chaos, Drew? But I thought that was a pretty good opening pre-show thing that kind of there. As far as the main card goes, we saw new trios tag team champions. Didn't like this. Liked the match. I don't like AEW giving just hometown people shit all the time. I don't like when wrestling does that in general.
Right.
But to me, as much as I love the BCC and I love Pac, why would you give Pac a trios title 2 weeks before he's fighting for another title? I just don't understand why. Besides getting the hometown, hey, Pac couldn't be on All In last year, and that sucked. He's on All In this year. He's in England. Besides that, like, why did that team was literally put together the night before the show. The night before the show. And they end up winning the trios titles. When you have legitimate trios teams like the House of Black, the Bang Bang Gang, I would even throw the Patriarchy as a legitimate compared to Pac and, you know what I mean? And this kind of ties into the Moxley stuff because we saw Moxley last night, and it looks like he's not involved with the BCC anymore right out the jump, I would say.
Well,
we'll talk about that in a minute. But I don't know. Again, the match was cool. I'm very happy to see. I love Pac. Very happy to see Pac as a champion. Just this decision didn't seem like it made sense to me other than, hey, let's give the hometown guy the belt in his hometown type of thing. It was very weird.
Well, I mean, also, as was pretty much reported, I believe, it appeared that the Death Triangle was supposed to win the supposed to win the trios title.
Yeah, I think that was supposed to be them, but obviously the Lucha Bros are reportedly heading to WWE. So they were like, okay, let's just throw Claudio and Wheeler in there. We'll stick to the plan. God forbid we make a new one. Like type. I don't know. It just felt very. They
could have just done a triple threat and not a four-way.
Yeah, exactly. How about you just do a triple threat and not a fatal four-way? Or how about you just have have the patriarchy retain or have one of the other teams win, and then you can build Pac in the BCC if that's what you want to do. Now you can build that down to when they win it when they're like established. I don't know. It just felt weird to me. It was like they literally
let me ask you this
together
question.
the day before.
Let me ask you this question. Say everything went the way that. So let's say that this happened, and then they decide, like you said, okay, just have the patriarchy retain.
Yeah.
But then what happens with Christian Cage?
Well, that was stupid too. And we haven't got there yet, but that was an even worse decision than this one. It was worse. That was a dumbass thing to end that ladder match. Oh, that gauntlet match. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking I'm big braining this. When we get there, I'll.
What do you want? Do you want Christian Cage to fight Bryan Danielson in a match that we know Bryan Danielson's going to win, and we've seen 15 times on WWE television? I don't. Ricochet should have won the fucking gauntlet match. I know we're not 10 minutes in. Sorry, guys, but Ricochet should have won the freaking match. He should have debuted and won the match. Sorry, but you give it to Chris. You have him come out. You have fucking what's the dinosaur's name? Kill Switch come out to the Luchasaurus theme for no reason whatsoever. It was dumb as shit. He came out. Half the audience is cheering because they don't give a shit about Luchasaurus anymore because you've killed the character. Nobody cares about him. They make you think for 5 seconds that he's going to turn on Christian, and then he just doesn't. And it's the most dud of a finish you see on the show. The crowd did not care at all. Neither did I. And I love Christian. No. Nigel should have won. Ricochet should have won. There were 5 other people in that match.
Wait a minute.
Before Christian.
Wait a minute. Why should Nigel have won?
Because it should be Nigel and Danielson. Before Danielson retires in 2 months. You're telling me at all? If you would have had, again, Ricochet should have won. That is my Ricochet should have won, because then you had his debut mean nothing. It meant nothing.
I don't think so. I don't think his debut meant nothing.
And then he had a match last night, which was a really good match against Kyle Fletcher.
It was the best match of the night.
Yeah. However,
I know you probably think Hangman and Ishii were the best match of the night. That match was amazing.
That was. Look, I thought last night's Dynamite was good from the jump. Like, I know I'm sitting here yelling. I just think some of the creative decisions that were made at All In were not good.
So
and the 4-way ladder match and the gauntlet match, from a creative standpoint, the gauntlet match was the most upset I was of them picking who won. I was more upset about a match that happened later on. But from a booking standpoint, this Christian thing was awful. I will go as far to say it was awful.
I don't know. I'm not willing to say awful, only because I think it's serving
who
the Luchasaurus turn, where I think I messaged you that night. Afternoon. We
have Logan in the chat saying hello.
Hello, Logan.
He's also saying he's excited. We're going to be talking about that. Don't get me wrong. We're just going through All In before we transfer over to Dynamite last night. So, yeah, we'll be talking about that.
Something we did not mention. Kill Switch.
Yes.
Walked out after the trios title match.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you already did the F. We're at 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
It. My bad today, y'all. I ruined
said
it.
F you.
Yeah.
Ducked out of the ring, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" So
was everyone like that though? Because I don't think anybody gives a shit.
Well, not the crowd. I mean the patriarchy.
Yeah.
So Then Christian comes out for this match, for the gauntlet match.
I had no problem with Christian coming out for the match. On record. When he came out, I was like, okay, yeah, he lost his belt earlier. That's a Christian thing to do. To try to get involved in this.
Right.
I had a problem with obviously how it ended.
So Luchasaurus then comes out, not Killswitch. Luchasaurus comes out, and it got a pop because everyone thought, oh, this is the moment. This is where it happened. So then it doesn't happen. But what I told you is, and I thought it was going to happen that night, but I'm more happy that it didn't happen that night. The last time one of those two guys had a contract for a guaranteed match for a title, Killswitch handed it
to Christian.
To Christian.
Yeah.
And Christian got the TNT title back from Adam Copeland at World's End last year.
Yeah.
So now, as a result of Luchasaurus, Christian now has another guaranteed contract for a title. But I think that the Luchasaurus part of this was by design.
Of course it was.
Because
I'm not saying it wasn't planned this way, Drew. I'm just saying it was a fucking terrible plan. It's a terrible way to end the
I don't agree. I actually don't agree with you. And usually we agree on everything on the
Orange
AEW.
Cassidy, Kazuchika Okada, Nigel McGuinness, Kyle O'Reilly, Zack Sabre Jr., Ricochet, Mark Briscoe, Hangman Adam Page, Jeff Jarrett, Christian Cage, and Killswitch was everybody in this match. And you chose fucking Christian to win. And again, I do not dislike Christian.
No, I know.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. You waste the moment of Nigel coming back, the Ricochet debut. You have all these moments in this match. And look, just listen to the crowd reaction, Drew. It was a nothing burger when he won because the crowd was like, are you fucking kidding me?
They were not, but they were saying that because they thought Luchasaurus was going to turn.
I think they were saying it for more than just that reason. I think they were saying it as what a fucking dud that finish was.
Here's
what a
what
dud that was.
Here's what I'm going to say. I don't agree with you right now. However, if they do this match at some point and Christian just loses without Luchasaurus turning on him, then I will agree with you. I will agree with it.
We got Scott saying, I've been saying that too, Drew. When cash-in time comes, Killswitchosaurus will do Christian dirty and it won't mean anything.
No, I don't think it won't mean anything. I think that's the point. Luchasaurus gave him the TNT contract.
Yeah, I get it. I just don't think, I think you are way overvaluing how much people are going to care about Christian versus Luchasaurus because people are not.
But he got a reaction when people are going to
look at. People are going to care about him like everyone loves a turn, so people are going to care about him like hitting Christian. But after 3 weeks after he turns, nobody's going to give one shit about Luchasaurus. Nobody.
Well, I'm not nobody.
Well, you are not. You are not. You are somebody to me. But I just feel like it was a waste. I just feel like it was a waste.
I don't think that.
Because now
you know what? I think, okay, maybe Ricochet winning would have...
Ricochet should have won.
...been a thing, but...
Ricochet should have won.
You know what would have happened? All of the, this means... You know what happened.
But look what happened last night. Last night I was on Twitter during the main event, which was a fabulous main event between Ricochet and Kyle Fletcher. And the majority of the people I saw on there were saying, he's doing the same shit he was doing in WWE. What makes him special? It's the same type of match he's had in WWE. He's doing the same moves. Nothing new. It's going to be those people for anything. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. There's always going to be those people. Always.
They use let's say, they use, speaking of WWE, they use things like Money in the Bank to further storylines more than just a cash in.
Sometimes it seems like they're getting back to that. There was Yeah, there was a stretch there where there was no substance to anything. But yeah, and I think, look, I don't think you're wrong. Like, I think what you're saying is correct. I think by the time Christian tries to cash in or whatever, like, yeah, the Luchasaurus kills, like, this, I agree with you. I'm just saying, in that moment, with the way that gauntlet casino match was going, that was a dud of a finish. You can tell me you can get a good story out of it. I don't disagree. That was a dud of a finish. Luchasaurus got a pop, cool. But once Christian won, there was no pop in that building because everyone was like, really? Really? And that's my problem with it.
But again, I don't think that part, yeah, it felt like a dud, but I don't think it was because of what you're saying. I think it was because it's not because Christian Cage won. It's because Luchasaurus didn't turn on him.
Maybe. Him to lose. I don't know. Again, Christian wasn't even booked for the match at first. We already saw him fight. It was a very Christian thing of him to do to enter the match. I had no problem with that. Dude, if you got Bryan Danielson winning your belt later on in the night, you got Zack Sabre Jr. in that match. You got Nigel McGuinness, who's been shitting on Daniel Bryan for a year and a half at the commentary table. You got him in that match. You got Okada again in that match. Orange Cassidy, Hangman, Ricochet. There are much better options.
Just like he's doing, the people who are saying, he'd just be doing the same thing as WWE. There's also the same people that are going to turn and say, what's the story? Why, Ricochet wins. What's the story? Zack Sabre Jr. wins. What's the story?
I get it. I get, it's just, to me in the moment,
I get it. In the moment,
it felt like it was like, oh God, that match was so great, and that's how we're ending it. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt I don't know. I thought there were better choices. Oddly enough, Drew. Okay. So what else happened? Hook defeated Chris Jericho to regain the FTW championship. I actually thought this match was actually all right. I thought this match wasn't the worst. I was like, that was actually all right. That was actually okay.
It had good spots. The croquet balls.
Taz getting involved was amazing at the end. Taz getting involved and having that moment was amazing.
That was amazing. Yeah.
I thought that was all right. I thought that was pretty good. The Young Bucks defended their tag team titles in the 3-way against FTR and the Acclaimed. They got the victory.
Match was way better than I expected it to be.
I expected the match to be good. I mean, I expected the match to be pretty damn good. Yeah, it was good though.
I knew the Young Bucks were retaining.
Yeah.
But boy, and then of course, what happens after the match was unexpected. Good old young veterans are now in AEW officially.
They sure are. And they cut the same promo twice last night. It was incredible. They're so good that they just cut the same promo back-to-back segments. Incredible, really. Incredible. But I am very happy that GYV, as our buddy Tanner says in the chat, I am very happy about that. They are a great tag team. They were great at first in WWE and NXT UK and all that.
He
retained. He retained because he picked Ospreay and we didn't. That was really the difference. He picked Ospreay and me and Shep picked. It was more than that, but that was the big one. He had Ospreay as one of his more higher confident picks, and me and Shep went MJF. I thought MJF was going to retain shenanigan-wise. Yeah, I thought he was going to retain shenanigan-wise. There were shenanigans in that match, but it went the other way. I thought it was going to be.
I am very, very happy about those
shenanigans. I am too. Jack Perry defeated Darby Allin.
Knew that was going to happen.
To retain the TNT championship. And then we did see Sting. They were going to burn. It looked like they were going to burn Darby Allin alive inside that coffin to kind of get some revenge because, Darby lit Jack Perry on fire. But we saw the returning Sting come and run them off. So Sting was there. That was a cool little moment at the end there. And one of the best matches of the night, Drew, Mariah May defeated Toni Storm to officially become the new AEW women's world champion. And we saw last night on Dynamite, she was supposed to have a celebration. She cut it short because she said, I'm not doing this in this town. Champaign, Illinois.
I'm going to tell you right now, that was the best segment of the night for me.
Oh, it's fantastic.
She is so right. That crowd was
sucked. Awful. That crowd sucked last night. And it looked like a small, I'm not from Illinois. It looked like a small arena. And then we're like, there was not a ton of people there, which is fine. AEW should run smaller arenas with more compact audiences. But they got a good show last night, and that crowd sucked.
Honestly, if I'm Tony Khan, that crowd is a town killer. I would never fucking go to that 100%. Town again.
If I was literally just going to say, if I was AEW, I would never even look to go back to Champaign, Illinois, because that crowd was awful last night. Truly,
you awful. Said it was a small building. It did. I didn't look up like.
It just looked like it was a small building. It just looked like it was a small building. Like it looked like it was no balcony, just kind of one. That's Tony Khan's hometown last night. Well, they did him a fucking disservice.
Oh my God.
He should never. Yeah. Well, he should. Thank God he moved out of there. Because Christ, that show got an A. To me, that was like an A Dynamite last night that they got, and the reactions were all barely anything. That crowd was awful.
Oh my God, he really is from there.
Well, he got out of there as quickly as he could. So, we got Tanner saying, University of Illinois crowds always suck. Unfortunately, with Tony being from there, I think they'll always go back. It is Illinois. Like I know Chicago is Illinois. Well, they do go to Illinois too much. Too much.
I did find it strange that a week before All Out
in Chicago.
Chicago,
Illinois is big. They might not be near each other, but still.
Actually, let's see. Where is Champaign?
As I continue along, I thought this match was really great with Tony and Mariah. I thought this lived up to everything I wanted it to be. I thought Mariah winning with the Storm Zero was perfect. I thought that was a perfect way to end. What is it, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Probably I would say under 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah. I thought Mariah May winning this match. I thought Mariah May winning this match with the Storm Zero was perfect. I thought it was a perfect way to go about it. I would like to see Tony wasn't on Dynamite last night, which is good. I'm fine with that. Last night, Mariah came out. They were supposed to do a celebration. She said, I know this town is called Champaign, but it should more be called Piss Warm Beer or whatever the hell she said. Insulted them. It was hilarious. And then she made a dig at all the women in the crowd, saying average looking women, and, made a comment about doing some adult acts and things like that. And then she said, and she had her hands all over Tony, making Tony feel uncomfortable. And maybe not uncomfortable. Making Tony feel a certain way, but he's a married man, so I don't know. But then she goes, I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste. Because I am Glamour. I am Mariah May. And she opened her robe and she was wearing some lingerie. She had the belt on, gave a 30-second little take your pictures, and I'm getting out of here. And that's what we saw from Mariah May last night. But I'm very excited for the Mariah May title run here. I would like to see Tony come back and dip into a little bit of the old character. A little bit. I think that would be, Mariah May, a lot of her time was as that old character of Tony Storm. Right. I would think it would be cool. There's a good story you could tell with Tony trying to get her belt back and kind of dipping into that old character as opposed to staying with the Timeless.
There might be a creative way of blending Timeless with the old character.
Something like that. Something like that to kind of, because you would assume that Tony Storm is going to try to at least get her title back once. Don't know if it'll happen, but that's what you would assume. So I think
the way that match ended at All In was it almost like she was saying goodbye to the crowd.
Yeah,
she was leaving, but they made sure to focus on her. They didn't just cut to the next thing they did with other matches. So it feels like now the spotlight has faded on the Timeless Tony Storm.
Yeah, I mean the movie might not be over, but you could that could have ended the movie. The production that they're doing, and now maybe it's okay, well, that ended that way. So now it's time to get back down to business. And this is who there's a way they could do it. But I'm very interested to see where they go with that. Cause I don't think it's the end I don't think that was it for Mariah and Tony. Like I expect Tony to come back and want to get revenge or get her belt back. And I don't necessarily know if she does that as timeless Tony Storm. I don't know. So we'll have to see about that. We should also say, obviously, during the pre-show, Jamie Hayter. So we'll talk about her. She had her first match back last night on Dynamite.
Yes.
But Saraya and her family at the end of the pre-show came out. Harley Cameron there, the rest of her whole family there, and she was complaining that, hey, last year at All In, I won the AEW Women's World Championship, and this year I'm not even on the card. And she's like, I'm from here. This is my country. Why am I not on this card? This is disrespectful. She was kind of going off on a tangent. We hear Jamie Hayter's music. Banger. Banger of a tune. She comes out looking fantastic. She had the red hair, very colorful outfit. She looked fantastic, looked to be in great shape. She comes out. She clears the ring. She takes care of Harley Cameron. And just as it looks like she's going to go after Saraya's mom, who I think is the actual real Saraya, right? Is that what it is? Is it her mom's name? No, wait, what's her mom's name? Is her mom's name? I don't know. Whatever.
No.
Who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? But then her mom gets in the ring, tries to attack Jamie Hayter from behind. Jamie Hayter gets rid of her, gets rid of Saraya. We have the triumphant Jamie Hayter return. How'd you feel about that being on the pre-show? I get it. It's on YouTube where like people that aren't ordering the show can see it. But would you have rather have that? Would you have rather have them made time for that to be on the? Her real name is Saraya, right?
It is actually, yeah.
Okay. I thought I was nuts.
I thought it was something else.
Were you cool with that? Were you cool? Because we've been waiting for Jamie Hayter to come back for a long time.
I liked it because it was right before the show started.
Yeah, and the pre-show is obviously on YouTube, and it's on a lot more places that people that aren't ordering the pay-per-view can still see it. So it could, there might have been more eyes on that than if it was saved for the beginning of All In. You know what I mean? Like that was my first thing. I was like, could you have just, because it happened with like 10 minutes left to go in the pre-show, right? Could you have started All In and had Saraya come out right at the beginning of All In, like, hey, before this show starts, this is bullshit. And then that happens to start the show as opposed to the end of the pre-show, because not everybody watches pre-shows. But then again, not everybody watches the main show, and they might just watch the pre-show. I mean, either way,
I didn't super hate
pumped.
It. I think
super pumped to see Hayter back.
If you go, and I mean, there were some legitimately good things.
Oh yeah,
debuts and returns that happened at All In besides Jamie Hayter. So I think that was the right call. It was like, this is a big deal. We've been waiting for her to come back. Like 7-8 minutes before the pay-per-view starts.
Yeah, something like that.
Here she comes. And I think it created some good buzz.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another thing too. Like that could be one of those things where now, if you're an AEW fan that just, you don't watch the pre-shows, now you're like, oh, well, maybe I should pay attention to the pre-shows because Jamie Hayter just came back on the pre-show. So damn, maybe I got to start paying attention to those, which is a good thing. One thing, I know we glossed over it, but during the Casino Gauntlet match, Nigel McGuinness, man, that return from Nigel was awesome. The crowd lost their mind. He looked great. Looked in great shape. He lasted a long time in that match. He was in there for a bit. It wasn't like it was just this one quick little, a Royal Rumble return where you're in the match for 30 seconds and you're like, he was in it. And there were times
and I loved face off with him and Zack Sabre.
I was just going to say the face off with him and Zack Sabre Jr. was amazing. That was some good stuff, man. That was some good stuff.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy that he was able to come back and maybe starts wrestling a little more. I would like that.
Yeah, I would too. I know Taz was cracking some jokes, and he was like, "Oh, Nigel's back." He was like, "Damn, does that mean I got to work Saturdays now?" Taz was cracking jokes. Maybe.
Another thing that happened in the Gauntlet. certain cowboy
Yep.
came out.
Hangman. Or are you talking
And
about the other
then-
cowboy?
Well, there were two.
Jeff Jarrett. Jeff
Technically,
Jarrett's
both-
kind of a cowboy too, you know.
Technically, yeah. And as I had originally thought, and we thought that was going to be leading to a match between the two of them, but it turns out it's not leading to a match between the two of them.
No.
Hangman did not successfully get the win because his head got smashed in with a guitar.
Sure did. Sure did. I would suspect that maybe Hangman Adam Page gets Jeff Jarrett next Wednesday on Dynamite. Maybe. And he ruins him. Could happen. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some comeuppance for that. But who knows? I mean, Hangman seems to have gotten what he wanted anyway.
The best thing about Hangman is that, oh God, I'm doing it now.
Hangman. That's what it is. Listen, you all can say Hangman as much as you want. His name is Hangman. Hangman Adam Page.
So Hangman, I guess it's just
it's what it is.
Canon
It's
now.
Hangman. Hangman.
He is so blinded with rage that even though he lost as a result of Jeff Jarrett, he doesn't give a shit about Jeff Jarrett.
No. And like, we're going to talk about it, but like, even in the Swerve promo last night, Swerve was telling him exactly what like, dude, you don't even care about anybody but me. And he's like, and I'm the one that's becoming the champion, and your career's going up in flames because you can't focus on anything but me. Like that. Yeah, we'll talk more about it. All right, so we got three. All right, so Will Ospreay. What a match this was. This is another great match. Will Ospreay defeated MJF, and he restored the International Championship. And he defeated him thanks to the returning Daniel Garcia. So MJF was looking like he was getting ready to cheat and do some stuff. And we saw a guy in a hood come out. Was there a ref bump at this point? Was there a ref bump, which is why this happened? Or was the ref just not paying attention?
I think, no, there was a ref bump. Yes, it was during the ref bump.
Yeah. We see a guy with a hood and a mask on. He kind of attacks MJF from behind, knocks him down, and he takes the mask off, and it is the returning Daniel Garcia to a very nice ovation. And then that leads to Will Ospreay finally hitting the Tiger Driver 91 on MJF. Gnarly looking bump. He landed right on his fucking neck. It was gnarly looking. I mean, there's no other way to take that move but to do that, but it was still, that's a gnarly looking move, man. And he hit MJF with the Tiger Driver, and he gets the 1-2-3 and wins back at the American Championship, and then he brought back the International Championship. Great match. You could argue match of the night. I would not fight with you. Really, really good.
Yeah, it was perfectly booked, honestly. Like,
yeah,
MJF just freaking going after him, and then I've been so happy. Just it was going to go one or two ways. It was either Kyle Fletcher was going to get involved, or
Daniel Garcia.
We thought that maybe MJF was going to pay off Don Callis to get involved.
Yep.
But then, who did we not expect? Daniel Garcia.
Which, when you think about it, sorry, I'm moving my camera up. When you think about it, we should have been expecting Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, but it was so great.
Yeah,
it was booked so beautifully that you never thought that was what was going to happen.
No, my camera's all being weird. But yeah, no, I agree. I fully agree. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was really, really good. You know what wasn't excellent, which should have been excellent, Drew, was Mercedes Moné defeating Britt Baker. Now, I'm going to preface this because I've seen things online, and I'm not going to be insensitive. My camera is really bothering me right now, so pardon me, people. I'm not going to be insensitive because I know Britt has just come back from a long time out with injuries, some serious stuff and things like that. I am not Okay, like I don't want this to come from a place where it seems like I'm just hating on someone, because I don't know all the outside. I don't know all the outside details or whatever. Mercedes Moné worked her ass off during this match to make it passable. Because Britt Baker, for some reason, again, if she's hurt, if other things are happening, okay. I thought Britt Baker stunk during this match. Stunk. And I thought Mercedes had to put on her working boots and work double time to make this match even passable. And I don't know why. I don't know why. That's why I need to preface it, because I don't know if there's other things happen. I don't know if there is an injury or it's just rust or I don't know. But I could tell when Britt was walking down the aisle that she didn't give a shit. I could just tell. Immediately, I was like, she knows she's losing. She knows she's losing. You could just tell by her face.
Yeah, I had even messaged you because
that led into me having because we talked off air after Firmly WWE, and I had stronger opinions about Miss Baker, and I like Britt Baker, but I had stronger opinions about her performance in this match because I thought it was dreadful. I thought it was dreadful, and I thought, to me, and I in no way align with all the thoughts of this individual, but I was listening to Busted Open Radio on Monday. And Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, he went further than me. He said that he thought Britt was sandbagging, like purposefully sandbagging for Mercedes to make her look bad or to make that match look bad. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and say that. He's much more inside the business, and he did it for a long time. I don't agree with a lot of things that comes out of that guy's mouth because he's a fucking idiot sometimes. But I couldn't help but watch that match and go, what's going on? The whole time I was like, what is going on with Britt? The only time she looked good in that match was when she hit her only big move of the match. The rest of the match, she looked like she just was a step behind.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be there. No emotion. Like, it was very bizarre.
I had said, like, somewhat jokingly, because you said, you messaged me and you said, Britt seems slow here.
I did.
And then I said, like, that was as a joke. I was just, like, being joking, like, probably because she knows she's not winning.
Yeah, but I think that was it. We know what we've been watching Britt Baker. And I know she hasn't been around for a bit, but we've been watching Britt Baker in AEW since the beginning. Like, we know what she's capable of in the ring. Is she a 5-star? No, but she can have really good matches.
Her match with Thunder Rosa was amazing.
Exactly. She can have 5-star matches, but she's not a work rate. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say. But she puts on good matches. It seemed like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I'm being much more reserved right now than I was in the moment because I know how this goes. Because listen, I'm not a Mercedes stan. I'm not going to go kill anybody if they don't like Mercedes Moné, right? Like some of these fans will. However, I'm a big Mercedes Moné guy. I love Sasha Banks, one of my favorite female wrestling characters of all time. Obviously, there's the Boston thing that I'm always going to root for people from Boston. I'm a big fan of Mercedes Moné, but Mercedes Moné gets a lot of hate that she does not deserve. And I just knew, watching that match, I was like, half these idiots on the internet are going to go, oh, that match stunk. Why'd they pay Mercedes all that money? She's overrated. This and that, and blah, blah, blah. That's what they were going to say. And if you watch that match objectively with human eyeballs, you would say Mercedes is the only thing that made that match literally passable. And it was barely passable. Not good. Not good. But Mercedes was the only reason why it was as good as it was. And I just knew what people were going to be saying. And they were going to shit on Mercedes. And they were going to say that she was overrated and AEW shouldn't have paid her all that money and she shouldn't be a champion and all this bullshit. And I was going to sit here and go, was Mercedes the problem in that match? Was she the problem in that match? Because last time I checked, she was working double time. to make up for the other one. Now, again, I don't know. Again, I'm not,
There have been, for the past couple of days on Twitter, there's been like some rumors floating around, and we're not going to get into them here because it's not
and that's
everyone
why
pretty much knows the rumors. We don't have to talk
Yeah.
about it, but and if those rumors are true, we don't know the details of everything, and it's unfortunate. And if it's what was bothering her, it was evident because this was not a shining moment for Britt Baker at all.
No.
And I hope that if
And I think this will continue. We talked about it before. Like, I don't think this was, at least I think this was supposed to
be,
but maybe after Sunday, maybe not. Britt wasn't on Dynamite last night. Lawrence, we're getting there, man. We're getting there, brother. But Britt wasn't on Dynamite last night. Wasn't mentioned. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that I went into All In looking at this match and going, this match could steal the show. And Britt Baker decided to no-show this match. For one reason or another, she did not show up for this at all. And she did a disservice to Mercedes. And she did a disservice to the card because this was the match right before the main event. This was what was it, the third? This was after they made this one go after Mariah and Tony. That's how they thought this match was going to go. That they gave it. Are you sure this wasn't right? What was it?
Wasn't MJF Will Ospreay the match before the main event?
Oh, I don't think so. I thought that went on earlier. I don't have the card. I don't have the card order in front of me. I just have the results in front of me.
Somebody in the chat, if you could help us with that.
Oh no, it might have been. No, I think the TNT Championship match was before.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
I think it was Mercedes and Britt, then it was the TNT, then it was the world title match. Yes, that's right, Johnny. Thank you so much. Yeah. But the MJF and Ospreay was the match before this.
Okay, right. Yeah.
I don't know.
By the way, I just want to say, if it was Tony Khan, if it was somebody backstage who maybe has been doing this, or he said, okay, you do this, the pacing of that show was fucking incredible.
It was very good. It was very
By the time 2 hours were done, we were already 5 matches in.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Anyway, that was it. Like, Mercedes got the win like I expected her to. I think we were all picking Mercedes to win because I think at the time we were all like, yeah, this is just the first match of a longer feud, we think. I still think that'll be the case. But I don't know what happened there, but Britt just seemed off. She just seemed off. And I felt bad for Mercedes in that moment. It just should have been better. I was really disappointed with how that match turned out. That was going into it, like that was like probably the second or third most anticipated match I had for the whole show. And it fucking stunk.
Yeah.
It fucking stunk. And it shouldn't have. And then we had
hopefully Britt is doing all right.
Exactly. And like that's why I'm not, like I said, I felt a lot more stronger in my opinions earlier in the week. Just because it was, but like, again, I don't know. Yes, I don't know if there's injuries. I don't know if there's other thing. Like, I don't know. So I'm not going to sit here and fucking bag on somebody. But that match stunk. And it was clear that one performer was performing infinitely better than the other. So I don't really know what happened. I hope everything's okay. But man, I need to see that match over again because we know we can see a lot better from them too. And I think we need to after that Sunday because that was bad. That was bad. Then it was world title time, Drew. Swerve Strickland coming in, defending his title against the career of Bryan Danielson. Another great match, as you would expect.
Let me just, before we get into the match itself.
Yeah.
It has been, I feel like it's genuinely been a while since I have felt such an insane aura for just two people walking out before a match.
Yeah.
Swerve's entrance was so boss. Like, And listen, I'm not into hip hop really that much.
Mhm.
But man, does he have a presence that is unmatched. Like his presence is when he walks down that ring, and I forgot the name. I think one of them is the guy that sings his theme song.
Yep.
And them just like walking down with him and Nana doing the dance. The dance doesn't make it comedic anymore. Like in the beginning, it was comedic, but it almost like it just adds to the presence now in a way that makes it legit instead of just, oh, haha, Nana's doing a dance, everybody's gonna do the dance. It just like, and I'll say even the same. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it was highlighted even more by what happened last night.
Oh, I was gonna say I saw a lot of hate for it happening last night on internets on Twitter. A lot of people were like, when Swerve's coming out and he's serious like that, he shouldn't be dancing behind him.
But he was dancing serious.
Yeah, he was kind of just like,
he wasn't going like over the top with it.
Yeah, but I did see a fair amount of people being like, when he's coming out and it's clearly he's on a mission and he's serious and he's not showboating, Nana shouldn't be dancing at all. He should just be walking behind him.
But the other thing too, and I don't know if this was done purposefully or not. Last night, he danced behind him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't usually do that. He's usually in front.
Maybe that was the wrinkle when Swerve's like he's going to do it. Yeah, I don't know. Again,
he didn't do the whole entrance spiel.
Yeah,
that I know it by memory is that he comes out first with the coffee, because Prince on that coffee, which I do want to try one time. He does the coffee, then he throws the cup.
Yeah,
he does the come out. He does this thing, and then he starts with the dance, and Swerve comes out. But he stays in front of Swerve when he's doing that. Last night, he did the cup, but he did not do this because I don't know why my camera's doing that. So fucking annoying. He didn't do the wave out thing. It was just the cup. Swerve's already coming out before he normally does. Yeah. And then he's in front of Nana while Nana's doing the dance. And he's not even doing the dance in a jovial, like upbeat way that he normally does. He was just like in the back, like with a more serious face doing that. That's the way to do it, because the dance is part of the presence of his entrance.
Yeah. I
really feel that way. And I didn't really see that many people shitting on it. So I guess we're following different people. I'm happy about that because I would have been annoyed.
Half the time I see people making comments like that, they're not even people I follow. They're just on my Twitter, like they're just on my feed, or somebody I follow retweets it. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't follow this person. I don't care about their stupid take. Because most people on Twitter, no offense, everybody, you got stupid takes. So most people on Twitter don't know what the hell they're talking about. So like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of just where it's at. But the match was excellent. These two back and forth. A couple times I thought Swerve was going to do it. A couple times. But Danielson kicks out, and then we did see Hangman show up. He jumps the barricade. There was a ref bump, right? There was a ref bump in this match too, right? Was that when Hangman showed up? Was that during a ref bump?
No, I don't think
he didn't get physical with Swerve. But Hangman jumps the barricade, and he's basically pulled aside by security and other referees immediately. He doesn't get physical with Swerve, but he jumps the barricade. He's there to disrupt because Hangman cannot get over Swerve. It distracts Swerve, and then Swerve turned around into, I believe it was the second flying knee that Danielson had given him in the match. And then he put in
the psycho knee.
The psycho knee, they call it now, right? Is that what it is? Something like that.
Psycho.
And then he put him in the label lock, and we saw Swerve tap. We saw Swerve tap out to Bryan Danielson.
And he tapped out, and I cried. And I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I didn't cry because, but even me, who I didn't even think this match should have been happening. Should have been hanging.
You got to get over that, man.
No, I'm not going to get over it because we saw what happened on Dynamite. What was the best thing that happened on Dynamite last night? Hangman and Swerve. It's the best thing that happened on Dynamite. You know why? Because it's the best thing you have in the company. Do it on the main fucking show. Anyway.
They're going to do it all out.
Okay, great. 2 weeks later on a secondary pay-per-view to your biggest show of the year, where it should have been on. Could have gave Danielson the belt at All Out. Could have done it reverse. Wouldn't have mattered. Anyway,
I
so
think it was the principle of it.
look,
Of
again,
being-
I feel like when I have this take, everyone thinks I hate Bryan Danielson, and I don't, because I
Oh,
was
no, I know you
cheering.
don't.
I was cheering when Bryan Danielson won the belt, and I love Swerve. Bryan Danielson is not in my top 3 dudes in AEW currently. Hangman and Swerve are. That's how I feel about them. If I'm ranking guys now, Danielson is not in my top 3 favorites in AEW. Now, from a totality perspective, he's the GOAT. He's the best North American wrestler of all time. You can make an argument that he's the best wrestler of all time, and I would not disagree. And I was very happy that he won the belt. I loved his promo last night. I'm very happy with Danielson being the AEW champion. It's just you had a better story to tell it. You're in the main event of your biggest show. Maybe we shouldn't be giving out consolation prizes in the main event. That's sorry. He won it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not saying he didn't deserve it, but he was given that belt last. He was given it. It was given to him. Anyway. But Hangman showed up. Distracted Swerve, led to the victory. I thought it was a good moment.
Let's talk about a couple of things that happened in this match that are very, very key in this match. First, Busaiku knee. I believe that's what they call it. Busaiku knee.
Lucia.
Swerve doesn't even fucking react to it. He just bounces off the turnbuckle and just brushes his shoulder. And that was so incredible. I was like, holy shit, he might win.
I really thought there were a couple times where I was like, holy shit, Danielson's gonna they're gonna do this. He's ending it. When he hit
the big pressure, and nobody, I believe, has kicked out of that in AEW.
Yeah. When he hit
they said that.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, Lou.
Hey, bud. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. He's like, dude. Oh. All right. Continue. Lou's just like, I just need to smell your beard. See what's up. And make sure everything's on the level.
Between 2 beers later, Lou.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi. It was I believe they said it's the first time somebody has kicked out of Big Pressure. I believe.
Is Big Pressure the kick?
That's his that move where he's got him on the shoulders and then does Kenny's One Winged Angel, that type of thing.
Yeah. Because he also hit 2 of his house call kicks.
Oh, the house call.
And I thought on the second one, I was like, that's it.
I thought that Big Pressure. I thought that was it.
Yeah.
And then that second house call, I was like, oh fuck, it's over.
He's done. Danielson's done. That's what I thought. And then it was like, whoa.
And the reaction that the crowd gave when he kicked, it was like a Roman Reigns type kick out. It was 2.9999.
Mm-hmm.
And Danielson kicks out, and that crowd blew up. It was the yes chants, and that was when I said, like, how do you not end this show with the yes chants? Because look at this crowd.
It was a great moment. Bree got in the ring with his 2 kids after, and it was a really great moment. It looked like he was trying to pile drive his son. I don't know what was going on there.
No, but then so the other thing that made me very emotional, it's what really started the emotions. So you see they cut to Danielson's family a couple of times throughout the match.
And Swerve went over there. Yes, yeah.
And is yelling at the daughter.
Your dad, this is what you want, kind of like, yeah.
She was kind of smiling a little bit too, because I think she knew that was coming. Yeah. That was sweet.
Obviously they went to them before. Oh, I'm gonna come over. I'm sure.
Of course.
They get at Swerve was probably like, hey, I'm gonna come over and say this to you, real friendly before. Like, I'm gonna do this.
Swerve is such a great guy.
Yeah.
Honestly. I would love to meet him one day.
Yeah. He seems like the coolest guy on earth, does he not? It's part of his aura that you mentioned earlier. Like, he just seems like he walks in a room, whether in character or not, and you're like, that's the coolest motherfucker I've ever seen. So cool. All right. Well, how do I get cooler than that?
So he's doing the yes kick to Danielson.
Yes.
And as he's doing it, every time Swerve kicks harder, I'm getting chills even thinking.
Oh, yeah. Danielson's looking at his family.
He's looking right at his family, and he's screaming, I love you. I love you. And that was like, oh my God, It's even just thinking about it is like, wow, this is just one of the most emotional moments of his career.
Yeah. And Johnny in the chat saying that he popped when Swerve brushed off the knee. That first
that
running,
was
he just popped up
incredible.
like what poof, and it was like, wow. All right, yeah. It was very look at the match was amazing. And Danielson winning in that moment, I was sitting at this desk watching it right here, and I was like, tap. I was yelling, tap. Like I was rooting for Danielson to win it. I'm not gonna get over it. But like it was a great moment. It was a great moment.
And also the last thing I wanted to mention, the tap out.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
I was gonna say, haven't seen Swerve tap out
ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, obviously there's a lot, but like
probably
not
have
often.
been.
Not often.
That was a direct callback to 10 years ago, WrestleMania 30.
It was.
Batista tapping out to Daniels,
Yep.
and getting the win there, and that was just chef's. I didn't even realize that. I saw somebody had posted like an image of the both of the tap
like
out
side by side or whatever, or like
I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah,
and
it's incredible, really.
Yes, and then I cried.
Yeah,
I'm not ashamed to admit it.
No, look at. You should never be ashamed to cry.
I almost kind of broke down a little bit just mentioning that part a moment ago.
Yeah, you should never be ashamed to cry at pro wrestling. I cry at pro wrestling all the time. I thought it was a perfectly booked main event. And like, even though most of us knew that Danielson was doing it, I thought it was still really well laid out. I thought the Hangman addition was played well, especially after what we saw last night and where we're going there, which now we'll kind of transition over in the last 35, 40 minutes here and talk about Dynamite. But I thought All In was a fabulous show. I thought it was a really, really good show. The only disappointment thing was the Mercedes Britt match. I just thought that was just a stinker, and it shouldn't have been. But other than that, I thought it was a super strong show. Great returns, great reviews, great returns, great debuts. Great reviews is right. Yes, it is getting great reviews. I thought it was, like you said, the pace. It was just a really, really good show. It's a really good show.
And it was the show that All In needed after last year's All In.
I agree. You gotta get out of here, bud? Okay. Yeah.
I almost had like a PTSD. I know I don't like talking about PTSD.
Yeah, because it can be serious for
like,
yeah.
Because last year's show started, and then before the end of the first match, there was already the huge breaking news stuff of what happened before the match. You know, there was like just kind of stunk the whole show pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the show that Wembley and All In needed. And next year they're not going to be in Wembley.
No, but the year after there. So next year, All In moves to July and it moves to Texas. However, Forbidden Door is going to be in England.
Yeah.
But then they've already announced that in 2026, All In is going back to Wembley.
Yeah, which I think is the right call.
I agree. I don't know. I feel like, why would you get rid of it for the 1 year then? What's the point? Why wouldn't you just do Forbidden Door in Texas?
Well,
what's the point of leaving for 1 year? Like, I thought All In would, and maybe they go back in 2026 and then they go somewhere else in 20. Who knows, right? But I'm like, oh, they're going to start moving All In, because I think they should move Double or Nothing off of Vegas every year too. Just because I just think they should. Like, but I don't know. It just felt weird that it's like, hey, we're going off. We're going to go to Texas next year, but then we're going right. It's like, okay, well, is it going to be a moving show, or is it just going to? I don't know. It just felt like, why a one-off? Why a one-off?
Well, and the other news that was a big thing. You know, I'm sad about this one because I've made Grand Slam.
Oh yeah, it's in Australia. Yes. Yes.
But now Josh Robinson, our friend, gets to enjoy Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Next year in February.
I asked Josh. I was like, now, I was like, they're still calling it Grand Slam. I was like, is that where they play the Australian Open? Like, are they going to the tennis arena like they do in New York? Are they? And he was like, no, the U.S. Open is in a different part of Australia, a different city. And I was like, damn. I was like, that stinks. They should have kept with the tennis. But either way. Yeah, but Grand Slam is now going to be in Australia.
Well, I mean, is there technically Grand Slam is not a tennis thing anyway.
Yeah, no, the U.S. Open is a Grand Slam. That's why they call them in tennis. That's a Grand Slam tournament. That's why they called it Grand Slam.
Oh, they do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The big events, Wimbledon, Australian Open, French Open, U.S. Open are called, like, if you win it, you win a Grand Slam. Like, you win.
Oh, okay.
It's a major, but a Grand
that.
Slam is when you win all of them.
I know Grand Slam for baseball.
Well,
That's
yes, I agree. But tennis, when you win all of the majors, so like Roger, the big guys, Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, all those guys, they've won every single major, and that's called completing the Grand Slam. So when they were going to Arthur Ashe Stadium and it was called Grand Slam, in my brain, I was like, oh, tennis, Grand Slam. Yeah, all right.
Okay. I never knew that. So.
That's why. Yeah, you get sports knowledge with me too, Drew. You get sports knowledge with me.
Oh, I can definitely come to you for sports knowledge. I know that for sure.
I know more about sports in general than I do about wrestling, but anyway. Okay, let's switch on over to Dynamite because we got about a half hour here. And there's some stuff we got to talk about. So Dynamite opens last night with a very unfamiliar music song, entrance song. It was guitar heavy. It was slow, which made sense when you saw the demeanor of this individual. But Dynamite opened with the returning Jon Moxley. So they show a little all-in package. You got Excalibur talking. We hear this music, and commentary was playing it off that this was not planned. That's how commentary was playing this off, that they were not expecting this. This was out of the blue. It was out of nowhere. We see Jon Moxley coming out of the crowd. Not the same old hyped up Jon Moxley that we're used to seeing. Very slow walking, very monotone face, like no expression, just kind of, just slow and the new music
beautifully, because I fucking love when they do stuff like this. This was, as commentary was saying,
exactly
not scheduled planned for the show.
Correct. Yeah, that's what they were saying. What is this? We don't know. Blah blah. So Moxley gets to the ring. Shivani's like, I'm gonna get a mic and go in there. So Shivani gets in there. Moxley says that he hasn't been talking much, but he's been thinking.
He hasn't been around much.
Yeah, he hasn't been there for 2 months. And Shivani says that. We haven't seen you for 2 months. What's going on? He goes, I haven't been talking much, but I've been thinking a lot. And I'm here to have a conversation with somebody who's not here. And he calls out Darby Allin. And he says, I didn't think he was going to go there. I thought he was going somewhere else. And he goes, Darby Allin. He goes, it's time you and I have a talk. And he goes, and trust me, I'm not hard to find. But I think it's time for you and I to have a talk. And then that looks like that's going to be it, really. Like he's just going to call Darby Allin out. It's like, all right, we're going to get Mox and Darby. That'll be fine. Cool, great. And then he just turns around and he looks right at Tony and he goes, I'm going to say something that you and everybody here, it's going to be very hard to comprehend right now. He goes, but this is not, and he's looking right at Tony Schiavone. He goes, this is not your company anymore. And commentary's like, what does that mean? What does he mean? Like Taz and Excalibur, like, what the fuck? What does he mean? What does he mean by that? And that's it. And then he just walks off. Nobody really knows what the hell that meant. Fast forward to later on in the evening, we see Moxley, looks like he's walking out of the arena. Mm-hmm. And the cameraman is yelling at him, John, what did that mean? What was that thing? What did that mean? And he turns around and he looks at the camera and he's just like, oh, what the hell did he say? I have to scroll down on my notes. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Pardon me. Don't mind me. It's just so far down. And I want to get to Johnny's promo because there were a lot of people talking about that. as well. Why can't I find my notes? Do you remember what he said in the back before we found out
I'm
the
trying to
reveal?
remember, but I
had it written down, but I can't find. Either way, he's asked what happened.
Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
I'm trying to find it, for crying out loud. He's asked what happened, and he says something to the camera. I can't find my friggin' notes, but anyway, he says something to the camera, and then he goes over, and there's 2 security guards there, and he pulls one of them aside, and he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna teach you something." And we see a woman walk into frame. And at first, we can't see her face.
I got it.
You got it. You got it. Good.
He was walking out of the arena, and then he tells the cameraman not to cast pearls before swine.
That's right. Yes. So he says that line, walks over to the 2 security guards, independent wrestlers, walks over to the 2 security guards, grabs one of them, and he says something along the lines of like, we're going to teach you something, or whatever he says. And then we see a woman come on screen. We can't see her face right away, but she's a bigger, like a stronger, bigger woman. She takes these 2 dudes out, flips one of them over with a judo throw, and and then we find out that it's Marina Shafir.
I had no idea that was Marina Shafir.
No idea. Now I know Moxley has, in public and on interviews, he has said that he has wanted to work with her and he thinks she's really good. He's been very pro Marina Shafir publicly before.
Yeah.
Then they both kind of look at the camera. Then a security guard comes running, and they both turn around and look at the security guard, and he's like, "Nope, see you later. I'm out of here."
That's
a guy that somebody Fightful, Sean interviewed that guy.
Yeah,
I saw him posting some stuff about it.
Joe something.
Yeah, something like that. Independent wrestler.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like a little funny bit, and then they walk off, and that's it. And I want to bring up this comment by Johnny because I did see a lot of people. I did see that too. Yes. Now,
very interesting.
It seems to me,
Joe Alonzo. There we go. Yeah.
That it seems to me that this seems like they're going to create like a shooter stable of sorts, like a kind of a blood sport. The vibe that I'm getting is that this could potentially lead to like a blood sport-ish faction, maybe in AEW, with Moxley leading the charge with Shafir and whoever else he goes and gets. But I did see some people online saying, this is not your company anymore. Maybe this is a way that if Shane is coming in, that what if Shane were to be the mastermind behind? Again, it's way too early to tell. It's way too early to tell.
Well, it might not be early because there's a pay-per-view coming up very soon.
That is true, though. That is true. Now, do we think we're going to get Moxley and Darby at All Out? You think it's that quick? Or do you think they kind of wait for Wrestle Dream? Because he called out Darby last night, but there's really only one more week of television to get to that match. So they would have to do that real quick on next week, which they could easily. But do you think that's something we get it All Out? Or do you think that maybe they push this a little further and go, why don't we wait till Wrestle Dream in Washington, where Darby's from? And maybe we'll do that match there. You know what I mean? So, do you think it's that quick?
So let me tell you why I think it might be All Out. I know, so, okay, well, I don't know. I'm not saying that I know. Not like I have inside sources or something. But I know that there's room. Well, I know that I've heard rumors of Bobby Lashley coming to AEW. I believe Fightful reported that. Maybe Wrestling Observer. A couple of outlets have been doing the rumor mill that Bobby Lashley might be coming to AEW, which, holy shit, that would be really cool. I was actually, the reason why I was like stuttering over my words is because I was looking up where Bobby Lashley is from. Not from Illinois,
no,
from Kansas, actually. But you mentioned the Bloodsport thing. I had not thought about that, but he's not in the chat today. But usually, he pops in Sunday Sinner from Roundtable.
Mm-hmm.
This morning was in our chat, and he said, similarly to that, it kind of like tied in what you said and what Johnny said. Shane O'Mac coming in to do what was actually seen as a popular thing at the time.
Yeah, Raw Underground.
Raw Underground style.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting. Blood sport, no ropes, shooter style stuff. Yeah, you could do that.
And who was the first group that really took over Raw Underground? Those men right there mentioned on the screen.
Yep.
Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin.
The Hurt Business.
And also Cedric, but Cedric's still in WWE.
Yeah.
But the Hurt Business, they were a big Raw Underground deal. And Shane,
Shane was the one. Yeah. Shane created.
He was the one that introduced Raw Underground.
Yeah, created it, right? So.
And
I'm just saying,
like the blood sport thing that you just mentioned, that
was kind of what they were going for with Raw Underground, right? It was basically a blood sport ripoff for the most part.
And I feel like this would be very different and different to the normal way that AEW presents wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm no pun intended, all in on this.
I'm intrigued.
The way that they started the show, I have said it 100 times on this podcast. Every time you do something that deviates from the norm, I love that stuff. So the beginning of this show, you might as well put an Ulafala on my neck, because I was just climaxing. Yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was good.
Go catch Firmly WWE.
Yeah, that was a callback to Firmly WWE. You should be watching both of our shows. If you're not, goddamn shame. That's what that is. But that's what it looked like when Roman Reigns put on that Ulafala. It looked like he came. I'm just gonna be honest about it. All right, we can beat around the bush. We're an hour and 12 minutes in. I can say what I want. It looks like that's what happened. So that's what that reference was. But I'm very intrigued. I want to see where this goes. I'm kind of. We talked about it last week. I said that, to me, still in my eyes, Mr. AEW is Jon Moxley. To me, he is the dude that represents. Like, when I think about AEW, it used to be Cody. Obviously, before Cody made the jump, Moxley kind of took the mantle for me from Cody, and he's been that guy. Now, this is a different type of Jon Moxley. Yes, I believe they did, Johnny. I forget the name, but they did MVP at the very MVP. Yes, I think they did copyright some version of a name of something like that, which could be. I mean, this could be where we're going, man. And I'm not against it. And I'm very happy to see Jon Moxley with like kind of a change of character a little bit. I'm intrigued to see where he goes, whether this is heel or he's just going to be this like kind of cold Hurt Syndicate. There we go. The boss man coming in saying that it was the Hurt Syndicate.
I just pulled it up now too. Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I don't know if this is going to turn into, imagine like if you were to add MVP and Lashley to this, and it's Moxley, Shafir, MVP, Lashley.
Shafir also is like MMA.
Oh, yeah. She was part of the Four Horsewomen with Rousey, right? It was her.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So she was part of the Four Horsewomen with Rousey and all them. So she has that MMA background. She's done blood sport. Definitely has that background. So it does feel like they're leaning in that direction. I don't know if.
Now, here's my question. What does this mean for the Elite exactly? Because the Elite have been the anti-establishment is not the right word.
I think they've gone away from that. I think the Elite's gone away from that.
But I mean, they're EVPs. That's their whole shtick, is that they EVPs and that they can do whatever they want. So
yeah, it's true. I mean, I think they
can. Now Jon Moxley is saying this is not your company, and it's like. So now there's two groups that are like, oh, this is this is not your company; it's my company.
Yeah, but I feel
I mean,
feel
not
like
that there can't be two groups.
I feel like the
but
elite has gone away from that though. I feel like
they kind of have.
I feel like they have not been
They
going down
might
that
jump
route.
that. They might jumpstart that again when Kenny Omega comes back.
Maybe, yeah, that might be something. But I feel like the elite over the last month or so have maybe a little bit longer than that have kind of gotten away from that. We're trying to take over this show. Like they're still being dicks and using their powers to get advantages, but I don't think they're openly coming off as, hey, we're anti AEW, anti like they still rag on them and stuff like. I feel like they've kind of loosened up on that a little bit. But very intriguing to see where this goes. I want to see more of it immediately. Hangman Adam Page had a really, really good match with Tomohiro Ishii. They beat the crap out of each other. Tomohiro Ishii almost killed Hangman on the dead eye he gave him. Literally looked like he almost broke his neck. Even Taz, who has broken neck issues, was like, Taz was talking about it for like 2 minutes at the table. Like, how is he walking? But Adam Page ends up winning with the buckshot lariat over Ishii. But it was really what happened after this match, Drew. This match ends. We hear the music. Swerve Strickland comes down to the ring. He gets in Hangman's face. They go forehead to forehead immediately. In my brain, I was like, how are they talking to each other? Like, how are they not just beating the shit out of each other immediately? But what they did say to each other was excellent. Swerve starts it off saying that he should be kicking Hangman's ass for getting involved in the match at All In on Sunday, but instead he came here to look him dead in the face and tell him that he feels sorry for him. He says he's become a petulant child, and every tantrum is taking him further from success as Swerve gets closer to success. He goes, make no mistake, I don't have gold around my waist anymore because of you, but I will always be referred to as world champion, which so won't Hangman. So I don't really know how that was kind of a dig, because Hangman is a former world champion as well. But he basically says, I will always be referred to as world champion, and mark my words, it will happen again someday soon. So he kind of does that. And then
because the other big news, he signed a new contract with AEW.
Yes, he did.
Taking him at least into 2028.
Yeah, it was like a 5-year extension or something like that. 4 or 5 year extension for what I'm assuming is top dollar for him. Way to go. Way to go.
Good for him. You can deserve it.
Yeah. And then Hangman grabs them and he goes, he'll be a world champion and this will always be Swerve's house. And he goes, so in that regard, Hangman, you failed in what your accomplishment was. And then Hangman gets right in his face and he just calls him a piece of shit. That is true. Spencer, that is technically correct. He doesn't go by that anymore, though, because he can't. But technically, you are true. That is correct. Hangman says you're a piece of shit. He says you came into my house. He goes, we fought 3 times, and you couldn't beat me by yourself. First time it was this reason. Second time it was this. Third time it was this. And he just looks him dead in the eye. And good old-fashioned wrestling, Drew, he just goes, you are not better than me. That... I understand it's wrestling, and sometimes these stories are complicated, but at the end of the day, wrestling is about who's better than who. We get in the ring to decide who's better than who. And Hangman just looking at him and going, you know what? You did all this shit, and I hate you for it, but at the end of the day, the reason why I'm pissed off is because you are not better than me. And everyone around here thinks you are, and you're just not. You're just not. And I loved it. I was like, that is as simple as it gets, really. For as complex as this feud is, that is as simple as it gets. You are not better than me.
Yeah. I mean, it also, because it's like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember what it was exactly. That it was just like it's this human thing. It's just this, it's so, sometimes it's a detriment to AEW, the realness. But when they do it like this in storyline, it's just, I was talking about that was another Firmly WWE thing when we were talking about the New Day thing.
Yeah.
This human realness of this guy has these accolades, but he's not better than me.
Yeah.
I'm better than him, even
Yeah.
though he still has these accolades. You see it in
It's-
sports, you see it at
It's
your
in everyday
job,
life.
you see it everywhere.
It's
Everyday
in
life.
It's in everyday life. And not everything is a competition to everybody, but everything is a competition. Everything is a competition. There are certain people that I look at everything as a competition. That's how I get motivated. If I'm at work and I'm running a store and the store down the street has better X than we do, in my brain I go, well, I need to be better than them. And I work at it to get better than them. So people look at my store and go, oh no, that store is the best store. You know, like it's every, and at the end of the day, and Hangman goes through it. He goes, you walked into my house where my family sleep, all this stuff you done. We had a Texas death match. We had this, we had that, and you couldn't beat me on your own. And yeah, you're world champion and they all love you and all this shit. You're the face of the company. You're all this. You're not better than me. You never have been. You never will be. And it's driving me insane. And he goes, and I want you one more time, and I want you on your knees, he says. And then Swerve goes, okay. He goes, you want me one more time? He goes, let's leave everybody out of it. You say I can't beat you on my own. Let's leave everybody out of it. All out, steel cage. Steel cage. And
also, he kind of broke some interesting news because he said, "Oh yeah, by the way, after that last match,
that's what I was going to get into.
I went back to your house and I was outside, and then he says pregnant wife." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Well, this was earlier. This was from earlier in the year. He said it was after their third match together.
But didn't he already have a kid then?
Yeah, he has two. When he was out for a few months earlier this year, that was when he was having his second kid. I think he was referring to then Swerve, because he goes, when we fought, he goes, after our match, like way back when, our last match.
Because I even saw some people on Twitter being like, wait,
no,
did Hangman have another kid?
No, I took this as that he was talking about when they were fighting at the beginning of the year. He talked about the triple threat match with Samoa Joe. That was the match he talked about. He said, after that match, I went to your house. He goes, I went to your house.
Yeah. Okay.
And I saw you walking out of your house with your pregnant wife, with all your bags packed, getting in the car because you were about to become a father for the second time. And then he said, and that's when I realized the man that you were supposed to be. And he goes, and that's when I realized I didn't need to focus on you anymore. I need to focus on the AEW World Championship and being the best in the world. And that's what he did. He said, but then he says, but you have lost your focus. And that's when I challenged you to show the world what cowboy shit is all about. Your career went up in flames because you can't focus on anything but me. So that was kind of the gist of that promo. Excellent back and forth. Excellent back and forth.
And we get the only one.
No. And we get a steel cage match at All Out between these two.
Should have been barbed wire death match.
Hey, you never know. Maybe. Well, I think it's Sean in Fightful that he posted something on Twitter last night after the show. I didn't watch their review, so you might have even said it live, but I saw he posted it on Twitter, and he said that when he interviewed Swerve a while ago, Swerve told him that there were supposed to be a lot more matches between Hangman and Swerve and that first initial feud, like in a steel cage was one of them.
Oh.
But then things happened and they were like, no, we'll save it. So obviously we're getting the steel cage match in 10 days now. But maybe the next match isn't the blow off. Maybe these guys just fucking fight forever. No pun intended, but like literally.
Good with that.
Yeah.
Because they're amazing.
Yeah. We saw Jamie Hayter make her in-ring return. She fought Harley Cameron. It was a quick little, 4 or 5 minute.
It was a good match.
Yeah, it was pretty good. A little back and forth, but it was really just a showcase for Jamie Hayter coming back. I thought it was really good. And obviously Saraya was at ringside, tried to get involved. Didn't. I assume we're heading to maybe at All Out, Saraya and Hayter. That'll be the match there. It seems like we're doing. We then had actually before that, we had MJF. MJF makes his way to the ring. I thought this was the best MJF promo we've seen in a while, Drew.
Same.
This felt like old MJF, like he's being serious, but like this was a good MJF promo. He comes out, He's heavily kinesia, whatever. He has that tape all around his neck. He says that he's in a tremendous amount of pain and he has a splitting headache. So he needs everybody to just shut up and let him talk. And obviously the crowd at that moment, even though that crowd blew last night, that crowd was like, they rose to the occasion in this moment. And they were loud.
A couple moments they did.
But he says he lost his ring and he lost his championship and he has 2 herniated discs in his spine. But he denounces his American citizenship, Drew. And he says he'll no longer be associated with this garbage country. And the only place that matters is the most magical place in the world, Plainview, Long Island, New York. He then calls out Will Ospreay.
I've driven through there. It's actually pretty nice.
Oh, yeah. He calls out Will Ospreay. He says that he cheated. And he isn't, and what they got going on isn't over by a long shot. He said, keep your head on a swivel because you're going to be he goes, I know how talented you are. And I know one day you're going to be real close to winning that world title. And I'm going to take you out at the knees. And he was like really like face first on the camera when he was saying, like, he was like right there. It was really good. And then he said, last but not least, I need to address the scum of the earth, a child that he tried to help. He calls him Daniel Garcia. He calls Garcia a bum. He says that if he ever shows his face, he's going to end his life. And at this moment, Daniel Garcia is entering the ring behind MJF. Shows his face. And he beats MJF down and he chokes him out. Chokes MJF out right in the middle of the ring to where MJF like he was out. He was out. Garcia lifts him up to go for a pile driver. And then he remembers what MJF did to him. He gave him the top rope tombstone. Was it a top? No, regular pile driver, right? But MJF gave him the top rope pile driver that took him out. Garcia's like, I'm going to do that to him. He goes to set him up to give him the top rope pile driver. MJF kind of hangs on, and then the security gets in the ring. Garcia starts beating the shit out of the security. All sorts of stuff. They end up
do it again.
It all, chaos ensues. They get separated. Garcia gets a mic.
Oh.
Yeah, this was good. This was good.
Go ahead. Say it.
This was good. Garcia gets a mic. He goes up on the top rope. Oof, man. He says, I don't know how he gets to it, but he goes, you know what's bad, MJF? He goes, you know what's bad? Watching your mother or having your mother watch you get taken out in a stretcher, not knowing if you'll ever walk again. That's bad. He's like, that's bad. And then he goes, over the weekend, he goes, you said your diamond ring got stolen. He goes, you know where your diamond ring went? He goes, I went to the pawn shop that I brokered it at so I could afford a flight to London to whip your ass. That's what he said. He says, but beating him in a match isn't enough. Now, okay. All right. Time. I got it right here. He goes, tells Max he pawned the diamond ring to pay for his plane ticket to London. He says that ruining MJF's life is his fetish. And he talked to Tony Khan, and it's official that Daniel Garcia and MJF will be happening at All Out. He says, but beating him in a match isn't enough. He won't feel fulfilled until he drops him on his head and breaks his neck. And anyone that might care about him will watch him suffer. And then he fucking whipped the microphone and it hit MJF on the ramp. MJF's at the top of the ramp or like near the top. And he just whips the mic and it hit MJF in the head, like almost.
Yeah.
And then MJF starts booking it down. I don't know if that was planned or not. I assume maybe, I don't know. But like he whips the mic, it hits MJF. And then MJF he starts to book it. Then they have to get separated again. Really good.
Picture perfect segment.
Really good.
Absolutely incredible. And
yeah.
The best promo that he's ever cut, Daniel Garcia.
Real good. Real good.
Oh,
that was very good.
The passion that he has is incredible. I love it. So I'm so happy that he's remaining with the company.
Yeah. All right, a couple quick things to get through before we talk about the ending segment here. We had Hook and the Conglomeration defeat Roderick Strong and the Learning Tree in an 8-man super tag. That match was a lot of fun. That match was good. But yeah, we had a little backstage segment with Mercedes Moné throwing a celebration party.
Hilarious.
And Private Party comes up and they're trying to get it, especially Isaiah Cassidy is trying to get in with Mercedes, saying, hey, you're throwing a party. We're private party. He's trying to hit on her. Mercedes is like, nah. And then we see Okada, who we know Okada's had a little bit of a crush on Mercedes. That's been a thing they're doing. Okada shows up and he basically tells private party to scram. And Mercedes goes, hey, sorry, Okada, how do you say bye, bitch in Japanese? So then Okada tells her, and then she says, sayonara, bitches. And then Okada starts doing the dance. He's like, oh, it's just a dream come true. Dream come true. As he's doing the dance.
What a great segment.
Yeah, it was very fun. It was very fun. And then we had this main event. Kyle Fletcher versus Ricochet. I don't know. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but him coming back.
It hasn't been confirmed, but the fact that he went all the way to London.
Yes, and is fighting it all. I feel like they're probably.
Yeah.
They're probably good. They're probably good. This main event was awesome. Kyle Fletcher, dude. Listen, we've talked about it at length. This dude, I feel bad for Mark Davis, but I'm never putting him back in a tag team. I'm just not doing it. Not doing it. This guy is a single star right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
He has such a great look. Like he just has the star aura all over him.
Unbelievable. Obviously we knew Ricochet was going to win this match. It's his debut match.
Man,
he's not going to lose.
Ricochet woke this crowd up.
Ricochet looked great. He was awesome. This match, perfect opponent, Kyle Fletcher. This was a great main event match. Best match of the night.
Did that little crotch chop on the floor.
Yeah, he sure did that.
It definitely, wasn't paying attention to that at all. But.
No. Really good. Really good. Post-match, Will Ospreay comes out, and it looks like we're not waiting around for Ospreay and Ricochet too. It looked like we're not waiting around.
Oh my God. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but I also loved this though. But Ospreay comes out. It looks like he's gonna, go talk to Ricochet, but Pac attacks him from behind with a poison Rana on the ramp, just out of nowhere, just nonchalantly, just comes out and goes, "Yeah, I'm just gonna give you a poison Rana. That's it." Just out of nowhere.
Brutal.
Unbelievable.
It looks so brutal.
Unbelievable. And then Pac
picks up Ospreay sold it like death.
Oh, it was so incredible. Great. Pac picks up the mic. He calls him. He goes, William. Calls him William, which I love. I love little shit like that. He says, do not forget about me. Do not forget about the bastard, bro. Do not come out here looking at him. You got me. Do not do that. And then he goes, as for you, Ricochet, welcome to AEW. And he says, get to the back of the line like everyone else because it's my time right now. Loved it.
Ooh,
loved it.
So good.
I loved it. And then we had the end segment of the night. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, the new AEW World Champion, comes out wearing the belt. Looks good on him. Wearing the belt.
I need me a hemp belt. He's got to make that an eco-friendly title.
That would be fun. He gets in the ring. He's talking about All In. He's talking about his win. He's talking about the 50 grand people in Wembley with his family. He talks about how when they got to the back, his daughter told him it was the best day of her life. And he cracks a little joke saying that, they went to like some amusement park earlier in the day. So it might've been that, or they went somewhere like kiddish earlier in the day. So that probably had something to do with it. Yeah. Peppa Pig bus tour or something like that. But he said, even before she said that, he knew it was because he got to the back and his peers were congratulating him. And he starts to get emotional. And he says, I knew it was the best moment of my career. And the crowd kind of gives him his cheers and stuff like that. It was a very nice moment. And then he kind of starts talking like he's leading into like he was going to retire. I know that's what it felt like a little bit. And then he kind of did the flip around and he goes, not yet. One thing he did say is that he's going to retire whenever he loses the belt. That's one thing that he said.
Yeah, so
like a little one-liner throw out.
Lose the belt.
Yeah, that like a little one-liner thing he said is, "Hey, I know my time will come to an end whenever I lose this." So that was a nice little wrinkle.
It can't be 2 weeks at all out.
No, but then he said, "I'm a fighting champion, and we got All Out in 10 days. So anybody in the back, you want a shot at this? Let's go. I'm ready." And the shot was answered by the TNT champion. Scapegoat Jack Perry. We see him in the back talking to Bryan Danielson. And he goes, you know what? Blah, blah, blah. And he's talking it up. And then he goes, your future is right behind you. Or he goes, yeah, your future is already behind you. And we see that Jack Perry attacks him from behind. So that was a recording.
Yeah.
And he lays out Bryan Danielson. And Dynamite ends with Jack Perry standing with both titles in his hands.
Not like Roman Reigns.
I did see that side, but it was a very similar pose. But I did see some side to sides. But yes, so at All Out, it seems that is going to be the scapegoat Jack Perry looking to become a double champ, and he's going to be the first challenger for the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. I know we got to get out of here in a few minutes, Drew, because you got to get to work. Yeah. But how do you feel about Jack Perry being the first challenger?
Surprised. Actually,
I am too. Again, another
that came out of nowhere for me.
Another current champ. So at All Out, we're going to have two current champions going after second belts with Pac and now Jack Perry.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
So,
yeah. So interesting. And I guess you know what?
It's a good throwaway. And it's in Chicago. It's Jack Perry. We know part of the reason why that's happening.
Oh, the reaction.
We don't have to beat around it. The reaction that he's going to get in Chicago is going to be a very vitriolic, and I think it's the perfect thing for Danielson because he's going to be the overwhelming favorite because everyone in Chicago is going to want to kill Jack Perry.
Yeah.
So, but I did see some people like
CM Punk chance.
I think they have to be, right?
That doesn't mean that CM Punk is still over in this company.
No, of course.
I promise you.
Of course.
Every time I have heard CM Punk chants start, there are boos that follow. People do not want, there's those stupid Mark Fox that are like, I got to chant CM Punk because the Young Bucks are out or because Jack Perry is there. But as soon as those dumb marks start doing it, the crowd boos them. And I'm like, yes, that is perfect. That's what I want to hear. Because it's, I see it all the time. Like, oh, CM Punk chants. No, it's not because CM Punk is over in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
It's because there's some dumbass pricks in the audience that think that they're derailing the show by chanting for CM Punk, and then the rest of the crowd, the normal people, boo them.
Yes.
So,
yep,
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it. I'm not expecting Danielson to lose in his first defense. So, but
I'm very interested to see how.
Yes,
I'm very interested to see how Jack Perry loses.
I agree.
Because
I agree. Because he's also a champ. Like he's the TNT champion. So we know he's going to lose, but he also, after he loses, he's still the TNT champion. So you can't make him. It has to.
Yeah, so
I am interested to see how it goes down. But I thought last night's Dynamite was really, really good. I mean, they have to fast track it for another pay-per-view, but
I'm gonna say it now. Hopefully I remember this next week. But I'm saying it now because I might not remember. My prediction in order for Danielson to retain, Christian Cage makes it a three-way. Luchasaurus turns on him. He pins Christian.
That could happen. And I think there obviously is history with Jack Perry and Christian there that you could make that work. You could make that work because they do have history.
It doesn't look that awful that he won the gauntlet match. Oh.
It was a terrible decision. But terrible decision. But yeah, I thought it was a good episode of Dynamite. I'm interested to see some things, but we'll talk about it next week on Firmly AEW as we're going to be doing another preview, pay-per-view preview already for All Out next week. But Drew, I know we got to get going here, so let the people know real quick where they can find you, and then we'll do our thing and we'll get out of here.
You can find me right there at the Drew Nicholas. Well, I mean, I'm not literally right there, but the box says that, and that is where you find me on Twitter. And I do Roundtable, and I do AEW Collision post-show collecting super chats and humper chats, and Firmly WWE, and follow at Firmly Love Wrestling at Firmly LW.
Hell yeah. Drew told you every Tuesday and Thursday you can see me and him with Firmly Love Wrestling. WWE on Tuesdays, AEW on Thursdays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right on this channel. You can see me later on tonight and every Thursday night, 8 p.m. with my main man Pluggo for the flagship of Love Wrestling, Between Two Beards. We got NXT with Najee joining us tonight. We're going to be talking Bash in Berlin. We're going to be talking NXT No Mercy. We'll obviously be talking some more All In Fallout as well. And you can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms, on Twitch as well, playing video games most of the days during the week. And just follow us here at Love Wrestling. We got shows all the time. The Brunch Gimmick on Sundays, For Exposure with Pluggo and Blair on the weekends. You got me and Drew 2 times a week. You got me and Pluggo. Lawrence is on Brunch every Sunday, usually with a rotating cast of characters. Quizplex once a month on Tuesdays, raising money for charity. We do a lot of cool shit here on Love Wrestling. So if this is your first time, give us a follow. You will not regret it. And that's not even including the great wrestling that LPW provides as well. So thank you, everybody in the chat. We appreciate you all greatly. We love getting here a couple times a week and chatting with you guys. Until next time, you guys know the drill. For Drew, for myself, peace out.